What's up? Good morning, everyone. I'm Traveling Tony. I'm here in Tanzania, and I wanted to talk about my marriage experience or my traditional marriage experience as an American. Um, so, what I want to tell y'all is first, because I had a couple of homies ask me about it, right? Since I know a few people since I've been living out here. People inquire about Africa, especially East Africa, where I'm kind of specialize at, learn a lot about, going through a lot of things that other people haven't. I'm just going to keep going. If you get lost or anything, just go back. You can rewind it. It's a live stream. So, all right. So, do you have to pay the dowry and meet the family? Is that all? No. There's a lot more to traditional marriages. I didn't know that at first. Turn off my fan. I'm just here comfortably. But yeah, I didn't know that at first that there was more to traditional marriages than just meeting the family and paying the dowry. I didn't even know about the dowry initially when I came to Africa. I had no intentions of ever getting married or being in a relationship again. Like it just wasn't on my mind. But here they're very serious about getting married and being in relationships, especially when you're in traditional dealing with traditional women. That's like their whole steal. They want to get married. They need to get married. It's just how things go in these conservative countries. It's all about family building, family preservation, family continuance. So I didn't know that. But anyways, let's get back to this. So you do have to do more than just pay the dowry, meet the family. Um, Especially depending on the tribe. People forget traditions are deeply rooted in tribes. So there's some tribes where you pay the dowry, meet the family, and the next step is to like kill a chicken or something like that, do a dance or whatever. It depends on the tribe. There's so many tribes in Africa. I think for the Sakuma, I was supposed to, and it also depends on the parents. So her parents are super cool. Like her father paid for the wedding, everything, and that's unheard of. I've been told by a lot of people here in East Africa, even in the comments. One of the homies, USA meets Kenya, super cool. She was telling me too, and I heard it from people here, so I know it's like definitely confirmed. Multiple people from the motherland that actually live here was telling me it is not common for the bride's parents to pay for the wedding. That's actually not how it's done. The groom's family always pays for the wedding. I didn't know that either. I don't understand. I didn't understand anything about how things are traditionally done in Africa. So now let's get to the dowry, right? So the dowry, like my boy wants to know, one of my girl's cousins in the bridal shower video, right? What is the process of being with her? So to be with her, you pay the dowry. First you meet her, whatever. Before even all that, right? After you meet her, you get to know her, everything. You have to do dowry negotiations. That's when you sit down with the family and you do all of that stuff, negotiating, whatever, right? So here's the kicker. Here's the problem with us outsiders, right? We aren't from these countries. We aren't even from the motherland, really. So we don't understand all the things that go into getting into a traditional marriage. At least if you're from the motherland, you have some idea. Even though your tribe is different, your country is different, there's still some similarities as far as traditions. You would understand that. Us from the West, we don't have traditions. So it's like left field doing this shit is kind of annoying. Or doing it is kind of annoying. You're gonna feel a little annoyed. You have to be prepared. So if you want to marry a girl from the motherland, know her tribe, understand the traditions. The girl's not gonna know too much, especially if she's young. I met my girl when she was 22. So what I mean, how much you really gonna know as a 22-year-old that spent your whole life in you know seminary school in Catholic school. She spent her whole life in girls' Catholic school. She didn't really know too much about the tradition. She didn't know anything. She couldn't. She was in school. She just got out, and then this happened, and then it just her parents had to walk her through it. But her dad was so cool. he let me slide on a lot of stuff. You know, he's a cool businessman dude. Let me slide. I didn't have to go to the house with goats. Like for the Sakuma, I think here, I don't know if it's every tribe, but the Sakuma here, when you're doing the negotiations for the dowry, you're supposed to go with a letter to the family, like introducing yourself. You're supposed to read off the letter and everything. It's a whole like traditional process. So I didn't know that. I didn't even know you had to do that. Like she let me know after the fact that they just let me slide with everything because her father understood I was a foreigner and I'm not familiar with all these practices. Now, not every family is going to be like that. Yeah, I mean, some fathers are not going to care. There's a lot of people here that don't understand, or not just here, in these other countries that don't understand that us Westerners don't comprehend these traditions. It's all Chinese to us. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't understand that. Another thing I would suggest too, become a little versed in the language of the host country you're going to get married in, right? So try to know a little bit of the language, just a little bit, because they're going to have you read off in that language. I thought everything would be in English, but no, depending on the country, no, depending on where you're at too, especially you go into the village, it's not nothing like what we thought it's going to be. But yeah, the dad let me slide. I didn't have to go with any goats or cows or anything like that. It was cool. But other parents might tell you, hey, you got to go with the goats. You got to show up in the traditional, you know, gown or garb, whatever, traditional clothing. You got to do all the traditional stuff. People forget traditions. Well, traditional families come with traditions. They all come with traditions. So there's the tribal traditions, and then there's the religious traditions. You got to deal with both. When you're dealing with a family, you got to deal with both. You got to deal with the tribal traditions and the religious traditions. Depending on the religion, wherever the religion is, there's so many religions, right? There's so many different facets of like Christianity and things of like that nature, right? So depending on the religion is what you have to deal with. For example, for Roman Catholics, so I had to get baptized, right? Because I had to change my denomination. I think I was Protestant or whatever. I wasn't, you know, a big religious person or whatever. I'm still not crazy religious, but I had to convert to Catholicism. And it's pretty common, right? It's pretty common to convert to Catholicism or whatever. And here's another kicker too. I'm not going to talk too much about this because this is on YouTube and I don't want people to get upset. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be just a little honest. I'm going to make Patreon videos about this type of shit. I don't want to talk about too much, but you are discriminated against as a Black American on a institutional level. You are discriminated against. I'll be honest with you. I felt it in the church. You know, I felt it in the church. Like they would say shit to my girl in Swahili, like, "You sure you want to marry an American? Americans are known for divorce. You know, Black American. You know, you sure he could take care of you? Stuff like that. These guys are known for this." He's telling her this shit in Swahili in my face, and I don't understand. You know, everything. I just know some words, whatever. And like she's tearing up and shit. I'm like, what the fuck? So you gotta kind of hold your composure, your temper. It can't like let shit get to you because realistically, these countries are conservative. Would they discriminate against a white American? That is a big one. Okay, so here's the thing, right? They were telling me, they were saying like, oh, you know, they're just not used to this shit, right? So I finally snapped, right? So I'm talking to the priest. I'm taking it at first. You know, I've been working on stoicism, self-mastery, emotional intelligence, whatever. So I'm just taking the shit at first. You know, I'm not even spazzing out, whatever. She's telling me what they're saying, whatever. So after a while, I'm like, yo, fuck it. I'm doing all these traditions. I'm here in your country. I'm assimilating. I'm not complaining. You know, why do I feel discriminated against as a Black man? If I was white, would this happen? So talking to the dude in the village, right? It's never happened to where Black Americans got married before to anyone in the tribe and the village is not common at all. But they have had white boys do it. So my thing to him was, do y'all fuck with the white boys like you fuck with me? After I started like throwing that shit out there, copacetic. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, yo, I thought I came back to the motherland to be with my people, sold into slavery. It came back when I came here to understand my history, my roots, whoop-de-whoop, all that stuff. After I dropped, after I really talked to him, not in an aggressive way, just letting them know, like, yo, look, I'm here to be with my people. So coming back to Africa, I would say, in my opinion, are we accepted? I didn't want to make the title about it, you know what I'm saying? Because I didn't want to attract the wrong attention to YouTube. But are we accepted in Africa? I would say we are tolerated. Out of every continent I've been to, this is the best chance we got. Nowhere else is going to really accept us into, like, her family is a prestigious family. That's why they were going so hard. You know what I'm saying? The tribe name is like solid. Her dad, also built up his credentials and everything. So that's my experience. So check it, right? As a punishment, I'll go into more traditions and shit too. But as a punishment for her family, since we got together, right? We did the tribal stuff, but we didn't go to the church and let them know, like, hey, the dowry was paid. All the other stuff is done. We're now living together. So as penance, her family had to pay the church $60, and her little brothers, the two babies, her little brothers, they can't get baptized until she does a sacrament. So sacrament, I guess, is she has to go to Bible study for 30 days. I think it's from like 8 in the morning to 5 p.m. 5 days. And then after a sacrament, she has a certificate. Then her parents could keep going to church and receiving communion. And then the babies could get baptized into Roman Catholicism. I didn't even know it was that strict. I didn't know it was that serious. Parents also had to dig holes around the church, and something else is as penance, as punishment for them not following the guidelines of Roman Catholicism in this country. They're very serious about this shit. So understand, they are very serious. So the family let me slide with a lot, right? But now here's the other thing, the other traditional families, right? The other traditional families in the tribe, because it's not known, right? So they're all talking. A lot of it is jealousy too. Remember, a lot of it is jealousy. They see us, they see how we look clean. We don't look like we're struggling, stuff like that. So they can see it from the other families, and they say the same things, like, oh, you sure you want to be with Americans? They have a high divorce rate. That man's going to leave you, go back to America, this, that, and the third. So that is their perception of her. So don't get it twisted. Now, the women, though, the younger women or whatever, they're not going to be tripping about that. You get a girl, 25, 26, she's just happy to have a man that's successful, whoop-de-whoop. But then when you're dealing with the tribe, you're actually dealing with the tribe of people. You know what I'm saying? It's many different people, many different families in a tribe. And they all might have something to say. Like I said, in my opinion, a lot of it was rooted around jealousies. I mean, they have daughters or they're married to like a dude that's a bum or whatever. So my girl had to deal with a lot of adversity. You know what I'm saying? Black Americans ain't accepted nowhere. I agree, but we are tolerated the most in Africa. I agree. Black Americans are not accepted nowhere because even if you think about it on an African level, right? We are so different from these people. You know what I'm saying? I lived with an African. I've been living with an African for 2 years almost, right? We are very different. Traditionally, socially, all that. We're very different from that. You know what I mean? How we do things. We are more European influence. And I've heard that somewhere from other Africans or whatever, that we are different. But I would say the people that are most aware of those differences are going to be the professional level Africans or higher, right? Like the guys you would meet at the gym and things of that nature. They would have questions like, what's up with the problems that African Americans or Jamaicans or Trinidadians have with Africans? Because in all those Atlantic slave trade places, Um, we are told that being African is negative, right? The darker you are, the worse it is. The nappier or more coarse your hair is, the worse you are in those Atlantic slave trade country. Now, the curlier, the softer, the lighter your skin is, the better it is, right? It's from the Atlantic slave trade place. So there's a lot of shit. Being here, being dark is cool as a man, especially is cool. Yes, they do have the thing. I don't really understand the skin bleaching thing with the girls, but I guess lighter skin girls. I don't know. Not a lot of girls do it, but there are girls that do that shit. Whatever. But let's get back to the traditions, right? So, I actually wrote some shit down talking about tradition. So, okay, we got rituals and ceremonies, right? That usually happens when two African families come together. They do the rituals and ceremonies, right? As an outsider, they're gonna have to skip some of this stuff because some of this shit involve two families. Now, as an outsider, you're by yourself. They don't understand. A lot of traditional families don't understand you are by yourself. Even as a nation, they don't really get why your parents aren't involved as much as the African parents. Like her parents were there every step of the way. Her parents literally did everything for the wedding. All I had to do was the shit like going to church. They made it very easy for me to marry their daughter. I had to do minimal shit, and to me, it was still a little annoying because I had to do shit that required like 8-hour days. Going to Bible study in Simbazi for 8 hours. You know what I mean? Get a certificate to show, boom. You know what I mean? All right, we did it, we completed it. Now it's time for the next step. There's steps to the marriage because, like I said, not only are you dealing with the tribe, you're also dealing with the church, whatever church that is. So for her, it's Roman Catholicism, right? Now, Protestants may have their own shit. And then now, if you talk about, so she was Sukuma, Roman Catholicism, right? Boom. So now let's say you're dealing with a girl that's hey, hey. Boom. You got the hey, hey girl. And then she's, let's say, Protestant or KKT, whatever, AIC. So you got to deal with those two different things. Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to go through a whole different process. She was telling me too, like the whole showing up and celebrate dance, even for the dowry, right? I didn't go, so I paid the dowry and I did because I had some other stuff to do. So the dowry celebration, there was a representative that represented me that her father paid a guy to stand in, and he says, "Hey, I'm the representative for Tony, and I'm here to stand in his place." So they did the whole ceremony thing, whatever. It's very deep. I didn't understand any of this stuff. I thought, oh, cool, I paid the dowry. That's it. No. So just be prepared for all of that. It's a lot more stuff than you guys. Hold on, listen out. It's a lot more stuff than you guys think about. Dress codes. You know what I'm saying? The dress code is big. You know what I mean? Even their wedding dress codes, like the suits they wear, they have like traditional African suits and stuff like that. Her family wore it in the wedding. I'm gonna post the wedding. It just happened like last week. I'm gonna post the wedding eventually. I just gotta get the flash drive. They did it professionally, so I didn't. What's the point of me doing it on my phone? Her parents paid for a professional photographer to do it, just like with the bridal shower and stuff. They paid for all that stuff. Like her parents are really cool. You can get with the cool family. I think it just depends, because I would say it's a difference between poor families and successful families. But some of the successful dads are very strict, you know what I'm saying? And they will have a problem. Not every family is going to accept you as a Black American or Jamaican. If you're not from the motherland, you're a Black Mzungu. I forgot the name for Black Mzungu. But if you're Mzungu Black, that's how they say it, right? If you're Mzungu Black, not every family is going to accept you. Not every family is going to say, "Oh no, cool," or even white. But I would say white probably has more of an acceptance rate or whatever from what I've been seeing. And I'm just being honest. You know what I'm saying? What I've been seeing, because I see a lot of white guys getting married. Now, I don't know if they're getting traditionally married or civilly married. There is a difference. I'll go into those differences as well later, but that's just what it is. Yeah, man. Now, here, after I got married and everything was cool, whatever, you get the certificate, boom. All right. But there's a lot before you get to that point. So don't get frustrated. Just take it. The marriage negotiations, to me, right? I wasn't even warned about marriage negotiations. So when I got there, I thought these people were trying to pull a grift on me. You know what I'm saying? I was African ignorant. You know what I mean? And I'm also trying to prepare you dudes before you come over here and they start telling you some shit and boom. Because there are people that are trying to take advantage of you, right? They're going to be those families where the girl has a baby and they're going to try to get a dowry out of you, which she's ineligible for a dowry since she had a child. And let's get back to this church thing real quick, because you guys, the whole virgin thing, because people ask me about that, right? It's not necessarily a huge deal to not be a virgin. That's not a big deal. The thing is having a child before marriage. That is where they draw the line at. That's like the ultimate sin. They can have sex and stuff like that, whatever. As long as they don't get impregnated, that is the problem. You know what I'm saying? That's why a lot of these girls, they know their danger days. They're very careful. Yeah, I mean, even the girls you're gonna meet on Tinder, they're not gonna get pregnant, even if they're not traditional. You know what I'm saying? It's just to the family, it's a problem. You know what I mean? Having a child out of wedlock. So that's another sin. That's a big sin. Where are we gonna go to? Community involvement. Now, when it's time for the actual marriage, this is where it was crazy, right? So when you get married, right? Traditionally, African marriages, it's usually both families, her family, my family, right? So I don't have any family here, right? And they couldn't really comprehend why my family wouldn't make another trip from America back to Tanzania, even though they was just here 5 months ago, right? They didn't understand, oh, why your family's not coming back again? And they didn't understand, like, not only will my family have to come to Tanzania, they have to fly to Mwanza, take a car, take a ferry, you know, and that's another like 5 hours. We are already impatient, you know, especially if you're a Northeast family. Like all my family lives in the Northeast New York area, you know what I'm saying? Those places aren't known for the most patient people. So you have to do all of that work just to get to the marriage spot, right? Then if all the very nice hotels are booked up, like what happened in my situation, the Chinese booked up all the very nice hotels. So you have to settle for like a cool hotel, a decent hotel. They're not going to be happy with that. The food also, they didn't get the food in the village will make you sick at first. It's not really the food per se, it's the water, the bacteria in the water. We're not used to it. I was very sick. I was there for like 5 or 6 days. I was sick the whole time. How much is the dowry? Okay, let me go into this now. All right, we got another question. The dowry depends on the family, right? Now, if the girl has a two-parent home, mother, father, the father is going to tell you, he's who you negotiate with. The father, the uncles, whatever. You're going to negotiate with the men. Now, if the girl doesn't have a father, not because he just left or something like that, because he died or whatever may have happened to the father, to where the father's not in the picture anymore, your dowry price is going to be lower. If the girl has a single parent, it's going to be lower. And also the status of the family. Now, if the family's like her family, they got some money, they could have charged me more. She was originally, a guy offered to pay the dowry to her family, an older guy, a couple years ago. He offered to actually pay $10,000 US, but she denied because she was only 20 and she didn't want to be with an old guy that she didn't know at all. It just didn't make sense to her. So her dad allowed that to be denied because the dad has money. Now, another father would have said, you need to take it. You know what I'm saying? They can force them into marriage. That can happen, especially, you know what I mean? Like, they're talking about the dowry and shit. So if the girl just has like a single mother, then the dowry is going to be like, so mine was 1,300, right? So if a girl has like a single mother, dowry would be like $300, $250, something like that. Especially if that's just how it is. But now, if she comes from a two-parent home, parents got some money. Even if they don't have money, two-parent home, you're gonna be spending probably about $400 minimum, 350, 400. Even if that's from a poor two-parent household. Now let me go down to this. So yeah, it depends on the family. I asked my girl extensively about that. I was even asking other people. But her family is a huge deal. When I went to go do the negotiations, there were already people. People came from other cities, like near cities, the tribal cities near, right? They came to watch the negotiation. They didn't even talk to me. And like I was saying, most of her family is cool. But there are those people that are going to be jealous. Even if it's a cool family, I'm saying, remember, like, to the women especially, and the poor people especially, because not everybody in her tribe is rich. Her dad's well off, but, he's like the head, the apex of the family. So the dude probably has a couple million in properties. But yeah, the he's doing very well. Now let me go to why is Africa letting so many Chinese in? They're just not Africa. From what I see, they're not really tripping about who comes in as long as you're not like disrupting their cultural way of life, the social way of life. Now, if the Chinese were coming in, pushing homosexuality, I'm just giving an example. I'm not saying I have anything against homosexuals, but that's against their laws there. So if you were coming to do that and stuff like that, then they would push it out. Openly violating like their ways of life, then they would push the Chinese out. But the Chinese are just coming in. They're going to the village. They're getting gold. They're spending money. They're bringing equipment. The Chinese are killing them in the gold industry because the Chinese are coming in with high-powered equipment. I seen it firsthand in the village. Regular dudes in the village mostly using shovels and shit, sifting through the dirt, finding gold. But the Chinese got the machines, high-powered industrial machines that are just tearing that ground up, getting the gold. But yeah, like I was saying, just be patient. If you do come here, understand being with the traditional girl is a lifelong decision. Pretty much, unless she does something, to pretty much end the marriage or whatever. They're also big on honeymoons. I never really, understood the purpose of a honeymoon. At first, I thought the honeymoon was just like to have fun, but on a religious level, it's the consummation of the marriage. The marriage isn't really complete until you do your honeymoon, you have sex and all that stuff. Whatever. So when you're doing a Bible study, right? There are countries that are going to have English versions, right? Where I'm at here, they didn't have the English Bible study where I went. So, she translated some of it. I wasn't really tripping. I got the gist of it. Being here for so long, whatever, it was cool. But it's going to be crazy to a lot of people, especially if you're only here for a short time. Now, what a lot of dudes do when they're getting married, right, do the send-off. A lot of people, the pictures you see when people say, oh, got married in Tanzania and stuff like that, a lot of them didn't actually get married here. They did the send-off and they got married in another country and they handled it that way. So a send-off, when you do the send-off, when you do the send-off, that's pretty much, so her tribe and stuff still going to go. They're going to go, everyone's going to go, and they're going to celebrate. They're going to bring a little bit of money and stuff like that. And boom, after you do the send-off, the marriage is in your hands as the foreigner. So you take it back to America, get married there, be a way simpler process. I don't know why people who have done this haven't explained how time-consuming this traditional marriage stuff can be. And like I said, I got very lucky. Other tribes, other parents could go way harder. Like her dad paid for the wedding. That is unheard of. So, take it with a grain of salt. You guys come here, talk to your, especially if you want to get married, make sure you talk to the girl, find out what her family's like. Are they accepted? If it's not a traditional girl, then cool. I don't think there's anything wrong with being with a non-traditional girl. It's just you'll be missing some key elements. Like me being with a traditional girl, I always have the family support, right? Like, let's say something happens and I need to send her back to the. I could always send her back there, and then she could just stay there for a while, no problems. Nobody's gonna say anything because I paid the dowry. I got married to her. I take care of her. Boom. They see what you're doing. They see that you're taking care of their daughter, and they respect you for that. They really respect you for that. The families that actually let you in, you know what I mean? Because remember, they're used to other people in their country getting married. It's not normal for outsiders to come and get married to them. So the fact that another Sakuma guy didn't marry her was already crazy. You know what I'm saying? Even if you get married to someone from another tribe, it's already like, what? You know what I mean? It's a little like weird. So imagine for someone who's not even from the country, you know what I'm saying? Or not even from the continent. Even Nigerians, don't have the best name in Africa. And that's what they all assume I am at first. And then it's like when they find out I'm Black American, it's like even worse than being Nigerian, from what I see. This is just how I felt throughout the process. Whatever. You know what I mean? Your problem is not going to be with your lady. It's going to be with the older people, the more traditional people. People forget traditional revolves around conservative, right? So conservation, they don't want these people getting married. Like I said, multiple priests have made comments about me being an American and how we love divorce in America. So they don't have the best perceptions of Americans already as far as on an institutional level. You know what I'm saying? They don't mind us coming here, having sex with the girls or just enjoying ourselves for a few weeks or whatever. But when you're talking about taking them out the country, getting married in their country, living in their country, you're going to start to see it. So that's just me preparing you guys for the inevitable. There are going to be people that have a problem with your union. It is what it is. Just understand, I wouldn't take it personally because they don't know you. And that's what I learned in Africa too. Don't take things so personally. You know what I mean? They don't know you as an individual. They're just going off of stereotypes and shit they may have read or heard about. It's a lot of grapevine shit. I heard this. I heard that. Same shit like America, right? I heard this about living in Africa where it's not really, it's some truth to it, but it's not true for everyone. You know what I'm saying? Like, not every Black American is a gun-toting thug, right? We all know that, right? Like, we know that because we live in America. We're from America, right? So we know there's a lot of educated brothers and sisters, right? But they don't know that. They just see what they see on TV. They hear what they hear through the grapevine, and they run with it. And I'm not, what? You said what? You're going to have greater problems than that. Then when with travel while at war. See, okay, the war thing. See, okay, I agree. The war thing is going to be crazy, but they don't give a fuck here because they produce resources. So they're not tripping about economic breakdown, inflation, and stuff like that. They have the raw gold resources. They got Tanzanite, their own special diamonds. You know, they're not tripping. Even like the war, they're not talking about any of that stuff here in the country. I don't think too many of these East African countries really give a fuck. Uganda, they made comments, but that's because Biden was pushing the LGBT shit on them and threatening them with like sanctions and refusal of aid and stuff like that. But as far as like war, these people aren't concerned with war at all. Most countries I've been to, especially like Black countries, they don't care about war. Let me see, what do you guys say? I pray one day us Black Americans. Yeah, man. But returning home, it requires, like I said, a lot of patience, man. You got to come here. You got to understand what we were taught is nothing like what they were taught. Even about dating, even, okay, the manosphere shit, right? They talk about what's going on with women in the West, whoop de whoop, this, that, and the third, you know. But they don't tell dudes, you know, how to be a man of the house, how to, you know, make sure your household's good. You know what I mean? Your woman's good in the household, stuff like that. They just say like what's going wrong with the women. And that's why I do agree that the manosphere has become toxic, because it's straight away from family building. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's just a lot of finger pointing and a lot of blame, but no solutions. You know what I'm saying? You notice that these guys never have solutions. Besides Andrew Tate, I give Andrew Tate his credit. You know, he does tell men to build themselves, be better, you know, how to maintain a home, a family, stuff like that. So I do give Andrew Tate credit. But a lot of those other people, like Coach CGA, I don't even really watch his content. I've seen some of it. You know, they're useless. They're just sitting there bitching. Myron, he's bitching. You know, it's nothing. They don't have no solutions. But yeah, hold on. Let me click on this next one. The war has nothing to do with it. That's how they feel. The war has nothing to do with them. They don't care. Like her family, they don't have no clue what's going on between the USA, China, and Russia. They don't care. They don't care in the least. They don't care in the least about what's going on our side. They're not worried about it at all. So I'm not worried about it. Honestly, I'm not really worried too much about it living here until shit starts kicking off and they get pulled into wars and stuff like that. That's the only way I could see it happening. You know, they would have to be pulled in. But I don't really see Africa. Africa already said they're standing united, right? They already made that claim. They're not going to divide the continent. But I would be worried about World War III. Being in the West, especially. Being in the West is probably the most dangerous place you could be right now, because they're already threatening war. You know, China and Russia already threatening war. I'm not saying we're going to win, we're going to lose. I don't know what's going to happen. We may not even go to war. It could just be all posturing. When I was in the military, they would always say, "Oh, North Korea and us about to fight." When I was stationed in Japan, and then we would get prepared, you know, do the whole fucking Mach 4 shit with the gas mask, sweating our asses off, and nothing happened. You know, everybody's on high alert edge, nothing happened. I honestly think it's just a bunch of bullshit. I don't think we're gonna go to war. I think they'll find it may be like a information war, you know what I'm saying, economic war, but I don't think it's gonna be all out war. I hope not. I pray not. I'm not gonna say I don't think or whatever, because who am I? I don't know what the inner workings of the superpowers, but I pray it doesn't go to that. That would suck. We would all die. You know, we will all die. Most of the world would die in a nuclear war between the greatest superpowers. We're all dead. So let's pray that doesn't happen, right? But yeah, you guys coming here, man. Africa's cool. Africa's cool. They are tolerant of us. But I have seen also, too, you know, where a cultural misunderstanding, you know, like, for example, Pizza Hut, Black American dude in there getting mad because they move slowly, right? Things in Africa just move slowly. People walk slow. They do everything slowly. They do work slowly. People aren't in a rush, right? So I actually learned patience being here in these countries. So you got to be patient. You have to be patient. Understand, we were taught differently. It's not our culture. These places are very different from us. That we were taught very different from them. Being patient, having emotional intelligence, that's things that they're taught. We're not taught that in the West. I wasn't taught nothing about emotional intelligence. I had to discover that on my own. That was a journey I made on my own. Patience is another one. I had to be patient, figure it out, find out, come in here. You know, a lot of people can't tolerate Africa because things are slow. So if you are someone in a hurry, always hurry, you know, that Black people time is real. That stems from Africa. They take their time doing everything. Even at the airports. At the airport, they take their time. They're not in a rush. The grocery store, they're not in a rush. Even the hospitals, you go to the hospital, they take their time. They walk slowly. Africans walk slowly. They're not walking fast like us, like me being a New Yorker, I'm speed walking. My girls trying to keep up. It's hard. I mean? So, but yeah, you guys would like some of these African countries, every place isn't for everyone, right? Every place isn't for everyone. So I would suggest try a few African countries. Some people may like South Africa if you're more into Westernization. I can't really say South Africa is not that much cheaper than America, unless if you living out where it's probably not too safe. But where we're going to stay at, it's going to be a little expensive. Even here, like living in Masaki, right? You're going to pay $1,200 a month for a furnished apartment, $1,300 a month for a furnished apartment. This is in Tanzania. And I'm not talking about like some super hot furnished apartment, OLED TVs. It's going to be just basic pretty much, basic freezer, basic everything. But you'll get the service though. You'll get the cooking. I mean, not the cooking, but you'll get the cleaning, daily cleanings, things of that nature. If anybody wants to come up and talk about their experiences in Africa, that's fine too. I don't know if anybody else has been through the traditional marriage process. I'll make a video about it, more talking about my experience being married here or getting in the marriage process here. But let me go back to the wedding though, right? So now, time for the actual wedding, right? So you got the bride's family and the groom's family, representatives, right? So since I didn't have any representatives, I had to hire these dudes. You'll see them in my next video dropping later. So I had to hire these dudes and this lady. The lady did it for free, but I paid the dudes. They're young boys. They're like 25. So I paid them to stand in as my friends, because even here, like my homies here, like they're business dudes, so they got kids and stuff. To just say I didn't understand that I had to have representatives because it wasn't really relayed to me well. My girl's young, she's 20, about to be 24. So she doesn't really understand all that stuff either until last minute. And the stuff she does know, she assumed that I would know too, but they realized that culturally we're very different. So you could get married in America without your family. Even if one family's present and the other family's not there at all, it doesn't matter. You don't need any friends. You could just get married by yourself. Go by yourself and get married. But here, it's not acceptable. Not having anyone in your corner to represent you during a wedding looks terrible. Looks so terrible that she was just telling me I had to find some people. Her brother helped me find. It was her brother's friends actually, and one of the dudes we actually ended up being friends. Young dude, like I said, but very cool. The light skinned cat. His name is Fox. Very cool. You'll see him in the video. Very cool dude. Actually hit it off with him very well. Definitely respect her family a lot, even down to the way they raise their kids here. Right? It's just all her siblings. So she has 5 other siblings. Everyone has manners. Everyone is polite. It's just the two parent home where they're just raised well is amazing. Like I love being with her family. The only issue I had in the village was the water being sick, and I did a lot of research on that too. If you guys go to the village and you get sick, if you're gonna be there for a while, you'll recover. Honestly, the reason I'm even back in Dar es Salaam right now is just because I couldn't take it. Like I was gonna hang out there for like a couple weeks. I enjoy my time with her family. They're cool. It's just that water, that bacteria in the water, we're not used to it. Like, I don't know if you guys ever been to Dominican Republic. It happened to me in Dominican Republic, but it was only like a 12-hour, 24-hour illness. It didn't last like for days on end, like it did in the village. That water was real. Like, yeah, definitely, Ozzy. Let me put that up there. Yeah, Africa has a lot to improve with water and sanitation, definitely. Though, if you live in the village for a long time, your body's gonna get adjusted to the water. I don't know exactly how long it's gonna take, probably different per individual person, but it's gonna take a while. I was there like almost a week and I still wasn't adjusted. I was getting sicker as time went on. Like I was questioning life. Like, why did I do this? You know, I was questioning life. I was like, yo, why did I even get married? Am I willing to come out to these places? I was mad. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I was pretty upset. You know, like they didn't understand why I was sick at first because they're not used to dealing with outsiders too much. So they didn't even understand why I was sick. But the dudes who came from the other city, the dude Fox was even telling me that's why he didn't eat nothing before the wedding because he knew he would get sick. He's from Mwanza. That's a city like over, you know what I mean? Mwanza has better water supply. Mwanza is just a better circumstance. Actually, her family was going to move to Mwanza, but her dad, and this happens too, and I'm just talking about what happens. Her dad actually was robbed for $80,000 because since he's a businessman, he keeps the money in the safe and he goes to go buy the new hardware and stuff like that. You'll see one of his shops, the mom's shop, you know, he has multiple shops, hotels and stuff like that. So, you know, he keeps cash on deck because this place is very analog. They use cash a lot. And somebody robbed him for $80,000. It's probably somebody from the family, you know, honestly. So, but you know, everybody knows he has some money, so he's just more careful now. It can happen anywhere. They didn't rob him at gunpoint. They obviously broke in and stole it when he, you know, wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? They're not violent, but people steal everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you have large amounts of cash and they see it and they don't have cash, they're gonna steal everywhere. So, but as far as like violent crime, they're not violent. They're not violent here at all. Had no issues. You know. Any more questions about traditional African marriage or any of that stuff? You're gonna need a representative. If you can get your family to come out here or come to the country when you're getting married, that's way better. If you get a family to come out and stay with you, that's way better. You got your family representing you, that's way better. If you have a patient family, I would say people from the South, it's a little hot. I would say people from the South probably would have the best time assimilating to Africa because the South is slow, like Africa is slow. You know, I notice people in the South have more patience than people like from where I'm from, like New York, for example. So if you're from the South, and I was actually told that too by a couple brothers I met out here from the West. There's more people from the South out here than from like the Northeast living. And I can see why. You know what I'm saying? It's a slower lifestyle. If you're from the Northeast or from like an inner city where things are very lively, then you'll definitely want to go to Nairobi if you're from the Northeast. What does it say? Do you have African roots yourself? Are you FBA? Or I am ADOS. I am not FBA. I am a descendant of slaves. I am Atlantic slave trade person myself. My mother's from Guyana. You know what I'm saying? Pops is a Rasta. You know what I'm saying? But we all come from the same place, right? All of us were sold by our own people into slavery. It just depends where you went, right? So some people went to Jamaica, some people went to Guyana, some people went to Brazil, some people went to Dominican Republic, and now they feel special because they're Dominican, Haiti, you know what I'm saying? Things of that nature. What is this right here? Do you notice any Jewish tribes in Africa? Jewish tribes? No, I haven't seen any Jewish tribes at all. Maybe South Africa might have it. I could see that being in South Africa for sure, probably like Cape Town or something like that. I'm pretty sure South Africa probably has Jewish people. I don't want to say the other word. Jew, the Jewish people are around. Wait, I'm a city guy. What does this guy say? But Nairobi seems overrun. Yeah, see, Dar es Salaam is very modern. It's like I said, like being in the South, in the suburbs. It's a huge city. It's bigger than Nairobi. It's more people here in Nairobi. But Nairobi, if you like the really mod, I wouldn't say just as modern as Nairobi. It's not. It's not as modern as Nairobi. Nairobi is pretty fire as far as modernization. They got like fiber, super high speed internet. The apartments are just fire. They got the doorbell cameras in the apartments. It's sickening in Nairobi. I would give them that. As far as modernization, Nairobi is pretty dope. I give them their credit on that. The only issue with Nairobi is you're not going to find a wife there. So Mombasa, you got a chance to find a wife. They're pretty. It's kind of like here, but not really. Mombasa is your best chance as far as like uh, known cities in Kenya, Mombasa. But then they got the other places like people talk about. You could check out as well. I really wanted to go to Kisumu. My boy Pat was telling me about it. I didn't get the chance to go. I'm gonna go eventually, but right now I'm sticking to Tanzania. Now the thing about Tanzania that you guys should know, um, Dar es Salaam has the best medical facilities. I haven't been to Dodoma yet, but Dodoma might be cool. Arusha, I don't know about the medical facilities. I'll be going there in like 2 weeks. I'll be traveling to Arusha, making videos. So I'll see how their medical facilities look. Because I'm somebody that, I don't want to die, you know what I'm saying? So places like Mwanza and the village, the healthcare isn't the best. So I personally wouldn't want to live there. They're not going to have, like here, they have dental services, cosmetic services, whatever you need, you could get. You know what I'm saying? And personally, this is just how I feel, right? Um, if you go into the hospitals, right, I would say go to the Islamic hospitals where the Indians and the Arabs are. They do amazing job. And I'm not trying to disrespect Tanzanians or nothing like that. I'm just saying, compared to Tanzanians, their medical knowledge is fine. Well, they hire Tanzanians there too at the Arab hospitals, but they just hire the official Tanzanians with the certifications and everything. Some of these hospitals, especially when you go off the beaten path more to Mwanza and Village, they have fraudulent doctors. They have people who aren't really doctors working there. I learned that. This is from the horse's mouth from other Tanzanians, just like the Chinese shit. A lot of shit I talk about. Okay, yeah, boom. Aga Khan. Aga Khan is fire. I know people that work there. Aga Khan is a really good hospital. My favorite is Saifi. Saifi is more expensive than Aga Khan. It's less doctors, but it's more modern, more up to date. I would say. And what are skills needed for an expat? Adaptability. The biggest skill needed for an expat is adaptability. You have to be able to adapt to the circumstances, to the country you're in. They're not going to adapt to you. You have to adapt to the country. So, and I think that's why a lot of us stay to places near America because the cultures are similar. Especially you're talking about Atlantic slave trade places, Colombia, Dominican Republic. We're not that different culture. Yeah, some differences, but it's not extreme differences. Like extreme difference would be going to Afghanistan. That's why people don't want to go to those type of places. Not just because of the violence, because it's very different. Japan, that's an extreme cultural difference. You know what I'm saying? Like as far as living or whatever, Japanese are also very stoic and calm and stuff like that. Me living in Japan now, as a black person, I wouldn't recommend living in Japan as an expat, but I would say South Korea is better to live as an expat than Japan. You guys could see for yourselves. You could try it yourselves. I know people that like Japan and they're black, but most black people I know, don't like Japan or don't like a lot of those Asian countries because we're not really, from what I've seen, living in Asia, whatever. You're not gonna get women from like prestigious families, that want to deal with you and stuff like that. As far as on a relationship level, as a dude, well, they might want to deal with you, but they'll be too afraid to deal with a black, and they have a father. The father's gonna be like, "Oh hell no, you can't bring this black dude home." A lot of Asian societies are colorist. Look at how they treat the Filipinos. The Filipinos are the N words of Asians. So just think about it that way. Filipinos are dark, whatever, because being in Asia, if you're dark, you're considered to be like a field worker. The whiter your skin is, that means you work like a desk job or you have some type of importance. If you're dark, that means you're outside working the fields, doing construction, even though that's work that is needed more than the desk jobs. But that's just what Asia evolved into, I guess. Let me see. Is there health plans a person can buy or mostly cash pay? There are insurance plans you can get for sure. I know, like my boy who works at the gym in that video with me when I said the Tanzanian guy, whatever. His wife actually works insurance. She makes a lot of money. So I'll ask. He told me what was the best insurance. I pay cash personally, but I might switch to insurance. I'm waiting until I have children, before I switch to insurance. Because like if it's just me and her, even if one of us gets hurt and it's a couple $1,000s, that's cool. But versus like if we got like 3 kids and we all need to go in for checkups, you don't know what's gonna happen. So I'll get a family plan for something like that. Oh, thanks for showing up, CP. Cool dude. Hey, you check his channel out. He got some cool content. What type of business do I get into? STEM skills. What do you mean STEM skills? If you now we're talking about business, you can do whatever business you want, but the easiest way to do a business if I'm talking about Tanzania, I think Uganda is way easier for Americans to just go there and do business. They're not really tripping, but here they're not going to let you just own a business as an outsider very easily. There's ways to do it, but it's complicated. I looked into it a little bit. You guys might want to, the easiest way though, because I had a salon. I had a hair salon, right? In my girl's name. I had an employee and everything working there. She didn't even go, but it shit flopped because it's like depending on your business. It's a lot of businesses here that don't make money. A lot of businesses in Tanzania don't make money at all. And people are paying, copious amounts for rent. More than what I pay for my house is what somebody would pay for a business on the street. And to not make any money in a month. So you got people spending like $600-700 a month for this rental space, and they may make $300, and they have to pay their employees, and they have to pay for electricity, and they got to pay for water, and they got to pay TRA. You know what I'm saying? So Tanzania Revenue Authority. Yeah, man, you got to pay all that shit. Wait, let me see. We Black Americans gotta stop looking for acceptance from other people. Africa is the only solution. I agree. Africa is the only place that will accept us. They will be like, if you come to Africa, and this is just what my experience. If you come here on some, oh, I'm American, we know everything. I'm American, I'm special. They're not gonna fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? If you come here like, oh, I want to live here, I'm a Westerner, you don't even got to tell people where you're from. They're gonna ask you. Yeah, man. Like you don't even got to tell people where you're from. But what I notice is some Americans, some Westerners, we come to these places with a chip on our shoulder, just like this sassy truck driver. She got humbled. Got her ass locked up, dumb ass locked up. You don't want to be like that in these places. You want to come here, you want to be humble, you want to show respect. They will accept you. They see you want to live here, they will accept you. Now, if you can come here like bravado American, we're so special, I run shit, I don't give a fuck about traditions, I'm not doing none of that traditional shit. Cool, but you're gonna have to deal with the prostitutes, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like that's it. Like there is no other way around it. If you want to be like that, you're not paying no effing dowry, none of that shit. You're not doing none of that. Like I've seen guys say it, like that's fine. Just stay on Tinder, deal with the prostitutes. That's fine. Families are not going to accept you. Make sure you have your emotional intelligence. These people are very calm, but I think sometimes people take emotional intelligence as weakness, and they try people in these other countries and end up getting their asses whipped pretty badly. So, because they do got that village justice. How do I sustain myself in Tanzania as an expat? I mean, that comes down to the individual. You're talking about income, stuff like that. Okay, I would suggest getting an online job, or what you could do is you could start like a farm or something. But the thing is, if you're going to do business, you got to get a girl first. You know what I mean? A girl you trust that actually want to be with you. That's why I say the traditional girls, right? Because you could trust them because their family got your back. So Shorty ain't gonna just run off with your money. She can't. Where's she gonna go? You know what I mean? Like I got all my girls' families, not all her siblings and nothing. I didn't want like everybody's number, but like the main people, parents, brother, I got their numbers, she can't even tell her family, we having an argument. We don't even argue really, honestly. Sometimes I get frustrated because I got a lot going on, trying to make money and shit like that, and we have less patience than they do, but she's herself is very stoic, very patient or whatever. I personally needed a traditional girl. You know what I'm saying? I can't deal with the rabble in the street because they would irritate me, and it wouldn't be best for my longevity, for success and everything. But yeah, you get a girl first, bro. Get a girl first. Start your business that way. My dude, Westside TMZ, got his girl. He actually bought land out here. Shout out to him. That's what's up. He bought in his girl's name. Smart way to do something. He really loves her. She goes back to America. These girls are loyal. I mean, you could get you a really loyal girl out here with no issues. You just got to know how to look. A lot of people don't know how to look. Don't listen to the guys that come to Africa for 6 days, don't have an African wife or girlfriend, and they're trying to give you game on Africa. They don't know what they're talking about. You know what I'm saying? They never lived with an African woman. They never dealt with an African family. Don't listen to those guys. They don't know what they're talking about. They will lead you astray. At least, people like my boy Jew Travels in South Africa, he knows what he's talking about. South Africa. He's been there like 4 years, 5 years. Jew will give you real information on South Africa, South African women. I mean, I'm pretty sure he has an email you can hit up for the people interested in South Africa. I would definitely ask Jew. He's been living there for 4 years. Okay, I'm gonna get to the next question. I know you probably have told the story many times, but how do you meet my significant other? Just the mall, you meet them out in the mall. You pull up. Like me, I'm a walk down type guy. You know what I'm saying? I'll walk up on the girl. I'll talk to them. They're very approachable here. It's not like America. You're not gonna approach an African woman and she's like, "Boy, get the fuck out my face. I don't know who you fuck you talking to." You're not gonna get that. You're not gonna get that. Trust me. Especially East Side. South Africa, people won't do that, but they'll just walk away from you. Like South Africa was the least welcoming as far as walking up on people, and I think it's because it's dangerous. I think it's because it's dangerous. That's why. That's why South Africa is not really cool to approach people like that. But here, you can approach girls all the time. My boy Realist, he see me. That's how it is. He was out here. In your girls in Tanzania more married. Wait, in your opinion, are the girls in Tanzania marriage material, even though many of them are prostitutes? Okay, marriage material depends on the guy. Me, I needed a traditional woman because I'm a provider. I like things a certain way. you know what I'm saying, my girl to be a housewife, you know, to have those housewife traits, you know, things that are given to them by a woman that's been married to the same man for the duration of her children's lives, right? Been married for a long time, right? So that's just my opinion, right? So as far as the Tinder chicks, if you are willing, so I guess if you're coming from like dealing with Dominicans, dealing with Brazilian chicks, um, then yes, the Tinder girls here are marriage material compared to the other countries. Yes, you could get a girl on Tinder that's cool and marry her, and you guys, you know, be happily ever after. You just have to know that there's a chance that she was fucking with other Americans, and there might be, you know, especially if you get on YouTube and stuff like that, there might be people coming at your head, especially if you start getting success on YouTube. There's gonna be people coming at your head saying, "Oh, I smashed your girl," whatever. You know, so if you don't mind that, then Tinder is a cool way. Some people don't give a fuck, you know. So if you don't give a fuck, Tinder's a cool way to meet chicks. Very easy, very fast. But the problem is, a lot of girls on Tinder come from single parent homes or come from homes where the dad is a loser, and he doesn't provide them with money. He actually lets the wife sell herself because that does happen in these countries. Not just here, everywhere. You know, some guys are losers and they have the wife sell themselves. When the daughter becomes of age, she sells herself. You know, she had a child before marriage. Or he doesn't give a fuck. Those are like the loser dads. So there are fathers like that. There are homes where there's two parents, but the dad is a loser, doesn't work. Some of those girls on Tinder are feeding their whole families. So the problem with the Tinder girls is you have to be willing to feed their whole family. You know what I mean? When you're dealing with a poor family, you have to be willing to kind of help. Not every guy helps though. Some of these, I talk to local guys too that have girls from poor families, and some of them don't give the family shit. You know what I mean? But now that may cause some resentment from the girl's family. Whoop-de-whoop, they may hate you, whatever. But yeah, that's just my take on this. Up to you. Forex. What is Forex? Oh, okay. Forex is cool. That's foreign exchange. You might like that. What is this? What made me pick Tanzania versus other parts of Africa? Safety. Number one was safety here. Number two was price. I would say number three was peace, very peaceful. Number four was gender roles. Gender roles. I did not know. I was looking for a place where people respected gender roles because that's something we don't talk about in the West, right? We don't talk about gender roles and shit like that. You know, like just the role of a man in the house, the role of a woman in the house, the place of a woman, the place of a man in society, societal gender roles, that means a lot. You know, another thing that attracted me too, I seen how the family dynamics are, right? So I'm seeing the family dynamics. You see mother, father, children. The children are acting like children. They're not dressed like gang members. They're not dressed, you know, scandally, nothing like that. Kids are still kids in Africa. You know, you don't see kids, you know, with tattoos or gun shit, you know, in photos. Nah, you know what I mean? So the family dynamics, gender roles, all of that. I seen the society is not on the verge of collapse. You know, so I was like, you know what, shit, I fuck with this place. And the people were cool. Now, some people may like Uganda. This is just me. This is why I picked Tanzania. I mean, Tanzanian women. Why I picked Tanzania? Oh, they're super submissive. That's why, you know. Like Tanzanian women are super submissive. That's why they're just so submissive. You can't lose, really. I mean, now if you're dealing with the prostitutes, I can't say they're as submissive. But if you deal with a girl that comes from a good home, They're very submissive, very cool, very wife material. You'll love them. What's the next one? Can I compare Tanzania? Okay, Kenyan females are more demanding. They're more, because you can look this up yourself. Kenya is more of a matriarchal society. So Kenyan females are more in control of the relationship. They're more like giving out orders and stuff like that. I personally think Kenyan women are cool for conversation, business, stuff like that. They're very cool to talk to. Kenyan women are very easy to talk to. They understand us very, very well. Tanzanian women, you're gonna have to kind of coach them on English and shit like that. But Kenyan women are very, very easy to talk to. I definitely give them that. If you're looking for a more modern woman to have deep conversations with, if you're one of those guys, then boom, Kenya's fire for you. No, for me, it's not, because I wasn't looking for that. I was more looking for a woman, a homemaker, to raise my children, take care of my house, so I'll go out and get it. You know what I mean? While I got to do what I got to do, my family's here, they're good. That's what I was looking for. I want my children to be raised well. So a child that was raised well is going to raise their children well, right? That's just the common sense way of looking at it, right? Versus someone that was, you get one of these Tinder prostitute type girls, parents who didn't give a fuck. I look at things, how does a girl enter your house? How does she take care of herself? Going to sleep. Is she going to sleep with dirty ass feet? Does she make sure she's clean? I like things of that nature. Well, the West talking about gender roles, but at least they're repealing those weird ass gender reassignment acts for children. That was out of line. I seen the video when they were talking about the gymnast girls were talking about or the swimmer girls, whatever. They're talking about the trans that had to get dressed in the girls' locker room with these little girls with their shaboing boing hanging out. And these little girls were forced to get undressed in there with this trans. You know what I'm saying? That was out of line. I seen that recently. I was like, hey, yo, and I see parents getting frustrated. It's actually out of control. California, you lose custody of your child if you didn't participate in the weird people shit. You know what I'm saying? California is out of line. I wouldn't. Yeah, red states is the truth. If I lived in America, I would live in a red state. I couldn't live in a blue state. Blue state's just too much fuckery. I'm sorry, it's just not for me. I'm not doing the blue state. I don't like how things operate in blue states. They're honestly, from what I see, America and the West just going further and further away from God. Not saying I was a big holy person, but I see the differences in the societies. People in these countries are more in tune with the Lord and have more morals and ethics. We are like a lawless society without morals or ethics. You know what I'm saying? There's no ethics or morals involved to say, hey, go chop your dick off, little boy. You know what I'm saying? Or little girl, you could go get a dick and be a man. You could just be a man with ovaries. It's no problem. You know what I'm saying? It's just social degradation. Everything is just degrading. It's going down. It's insane. I see it from out here. I just don't talk about it too much because it doesn't really coincide with my channel, what I'm doing. But yeah, I see that shit. That's just crazy, man. I watch the news for America a little bit, not too much because I don't want to fill my mind with all the negative stuff going on there because a lot of positive things are happening here. And if you read into too much negativity, you consume too much negativity, it's going to have an effect on how you live your life, your day-to-day life, whether you believe it or not. But it's just the truth. It's what you consume. You know what I'm saying? Just like if you eat a bunch of bad food, you're going to have stomach issues. You know what I'm saying? What goes in must come out. You know what I mean? So I try to just be around positive stuff, see how things are going positively. You know what I'm saying? Personally, that's what I try to do, but I do see it. I do see the negativity in the States. But yeah, you boys might be better off trying another country, man. Even Thailand. Thailand's cool. Thailand is cool for the people that want to do Asia. I prefer Asia. I mean, I prefer Africa, but Asia is cool as a number two. If I didn't live in Africa, I would do Asia. The reason I didn't, honestly, Africa was the last destination I was going to come to. The reason I even came to Africa is because during COVID, all the Asian countries were locked down. And then I peeped. I was like, yo, what am I doing? You know, like, I was like, because I was a part of the mind control group of people that thought Africa was fucked up. America sold us that, you know? Like, you know what I'm saying? America sold us that Africa's fucked up and everything, you know. They try to really get us to run with that. Africa's a terrible place. I believed it. Most people believe, even still to this day, with all the content creators showing how we're in Africa or whatever, you still get people that say, oh, y'all better watch out with them pirates. What? I've been here almost 2 years. In like 2 months, next month will be 2 years I've been here. I haven't seen one pirate. You know what I mean? Not one person tried to rob me. Not one person tried to rob me. None of that. I've had like maybe a couple little arguments, but you're going to have that anywhere, you know, like, especially when you're an outsider. You know what I'm saying? People do get jealous. What do I think about Rwandan female? Okay, so I looked into Rwanda. I was going to go to Rwanda. The reason I didn't go to Rwanda is because it's similar to Kenya as far as more matriarchal. I don't want to be in a matriarch. I can't be in a matriarch. I'm the type of guy, I have to be in a patriarchal society where men run things and things are cool. Because matriarchal societies, it's a lot of single parent homes, you know. Not saying that Rwanda's a terrible place. I heard Rwanda's really dope, but it's a little too matriarchal for me, you know, like I'm cool. I will still go to see it. I'll go with my girl. I'm not going to go solo, but you know, I will go see it. I'll take her to go see it, or I might go solo. Honestly, I got a video coming out. Any content creators in Africa that want to do like off the beaten path stuff, like go see like remote tribes and stuff like that, might be willing to do something like that after I monetize. Definitely be something I'll be interested in. Southeast Asia has my attention to bail out. Yeah, honestly, you would kill it in Southeast Asia because the lighter your skin is, the more they're gonna fuck. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna love your very light skin. It's gonna be cool. Southeast Asia for darkies like me, I wouldn't suggest it. If you're a darkie, your best bet is Africa. You know what I'm saying? If you're a lighter skinned cat, you know what I mean, then Asia's cool. Latin America is trash. Like as far as South America, it's trash. It's the West, you know, there's feminism everywhere. You're not gonna get what you think you're gonna get in South America. Don't listen to the dudes in Dominican Republic. You know, most of them are untraveled, promoting DR. You know what I'm saying? It's a little ass island. You know what I'm saying? No, he's Hispanic. Yeah, he's Hispanic. So it's my family, you know, stepdad's brother. So, but yeah, he's Hispanic. But yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. Wait, am I familiar with Mark Meets Africa? Yeah, I know Mark. I got his number. We'll talk sometimes. You know, I met Mark in January, I believe. I met Mark in Mbezi Beach at a little cafe. He was in there. I actually approached him because I recognized him from YouTube. Cool dude. I didn't know how young he was. You know, dude's like 20, 21. Very young, very educated dude, super smart dude. Mark is very smart. And he's pretty wise, you know, because how many 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds have been to villages and speak Swahili? Homie speaks Swahili. You know what I'm saying? That's fine. I really respect Mark. Smart dude, cool dude. Nothing but positive things to say about Mark Meets Africa. He's really the only thing I would say is he's too versed on helping people. You know, he needs to help himself, make sure his life is good. he's really trying to help people. He's not trying to like hustle people, not trying to scam people. Talking to him, he's like honestly trying to help brothers and sisters. You know, he actually spends his YouTube money feeding African Americans out here that don't have money. So I didn't even know that was like a thing. He told me this, like, you know, he helps people eat, help pay their rent, because you know your rent would be $20. So I thought that was really interesting. I was like, damn, bro, you're 20 years old and you're doing all that. I don't do none of that shit. You know, I got a wife, I got my own life, I got a lot of shit I'm doing. I got to help myself before I help other people. You know what I'm saying? So I really just think Mark needs to focus on himself, his content, building up his YouTube even more. He could be like the other young cat, Austin, making crazy money on YouTube. He just needs to drop more content, keep talking to people. People love him. They love his personality. Dude has a great personality, you know what I'm saying? Very good dude. I definitely kudos to Mark. I definitely respect Mark, even though I'm a lot older than him. I do respect him. He's going to learn a lot as he gets older, and I think he's going to be even a better person. But I just think he needs to be careful because there are a lot of people that try to take advantage of kind-hearted people who are doing things from the right place, from their heart, you know, just trying to help other brothers and sisters, you know. So I definitely give Mark a lot of respect, you know. Where's this? Well, let me see. What you saying? You said Mark's on YouTube money for African Americans. Yeah. So I don't deal with African Americans in Tanzania, like, cause you know, a lot of us come to these places and we look for what's familiar, like African American communities and stuff like that. I wasn't looking for none of that shit. I was looking to start my life, you know. So, but he does help people, and he does help African Americans specifically in Africa. He told me this out of his mouth, you know, like he does help people. And then the O'Shea shit, you know, I seen where O'Shea was talking about when he was on O'Shea, he's talking, or Ken Gardner talking about the poor African Americans. I never really seen them, but I also don't deal with African Americans. You know, I deal with Tanzanians in Tanzania. Now, like when you came, if you were here, I would deal because I know you, you know, like if I don't know you, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going out of my way to make friends with just because I hear you, because you could hear them. I see African Americans all the time. You hear them, you see how they dress, got the fitted caps on, you know, hear them talking. You know what I'm saying? A lot of Black Americans want to make it known they're Black American by speaking, you know, a lot, especially the women I noticed. But just because I hear you speaking don't mean I'm going to go, oh, what's up, bro? I'm American too. You know what I mean? Nah, I keep it pushing. I keep it pushing, bro. I keep it pushing. I got my own shit going on. But yes, there are people here there are African American communities. There's like a community center, I believe, that he was trying to build or something like that to help African Americans come into Africa to assimilate well. So I definitely a lot of kudos and respect to Mark Meets Africa. Like he's doing community outreach stuff. You know, I have my community outreach is doing these videos. Like this is the extent I'm gonna go to help African Americans come here. You know, like because I'm here in Africa. You know what I'm saying? I'm here in Africa, so my community outreach here is going to be going to the orphanage and stuff like that. You know, dealing with people in country to help Americans assimilate. I can make these videos. People can watch them, hear my experience, take my advice or not take the advice. But I mean, it is what it is. Let me see. What is he saying here? If you make $1,500 a month, now you could live in Africa on $1,500 a month. This is one of the cheaper countries. There's a list of top 10 cheapest African countries to live in. Right? I think cheap, safe African countries. I'm not sure, but top 10 cheapest African countries to live in. You could live here for $1,500 a month, but it's not going to be like with air conditioning, because $1,500 is about 4M TSH, right? About 4M, a little under 4M. So you can live comfortably. You'll live more comfortably than like the average local with $1,500 a month. You could get a house or apartment for $200. If you don't use AC, your electric bill will be like $10 a month, $20 a month, no more than that. If you use AC, then it's going to be more expensive. That's why a lot of people live in Arusha, because you're not paying outrageous for AC usage. You know, it's not hot in Arusha. It's cool. Here it's blazing hot, cooking. Not all the time, but in these months especially. Right now we're in the summertime. The seasons are reversed here. So when it's cold there, it's hot as hell in Dar es Salaam. This is similar to Brazil, you know. But yeah, $1,500. I would say Uganda, Tanzania. I wouldn't really want to do Kenya on $1,500 a month, honestly. If I was coming here, Kenya's more expensive, especially Nairobi. It's going to be more expensive. Let me see what's going on with this guy. What my uncle's saying. A lot of I say most Americans go to foreign countries with zero intention of embracing culture. Yes. And that is why people end up going back to America. Yes, you can exploit the economic differences, right? Like the dollar power or whatever. Hey, someone said, hey, shout out CP. Thank you, bro. He just hit the cap app. Thank you, bro. I never even asked anybody for that. I appreciate that, brother. You know, thank you very much, brother. I appreciate you for hitting the cash app. Thank you very much. But yeah, a lot of people just want to exploit economic differences. Yeah, man, they definitely do. I would say that's most people. You know, they come to these countries. You know, let's say, for example, the cops stop you or whatever. The cops stop you or whatever, right? And what you want to do is you want to take out your phone and start recording. Why y'all fucking with me? Why y'all effing with me, right? It's not going to end good for you, homie. You know what I'm saying? They're going to slam you up. They're going to put you in jail. You know what I mean? It's going to be a whack situation. You know what I'm saying? People don't come to these countries trying to understand how shit works. They just want to act like they're still in America. It's not going to work out well for you. And that is honestly why some people have negative prejudices against Americans. Because like I said, I've seen it firsthand. Black Americans, even here, Pizza Hut, you know, just language barrier, right? So if you order food at Pizza Hut, right, and the person doesn't really understand you well, right, and your food comes out incorrectly, and you go up to the counter like, yo, what the fuck? Why my food messed up? Whoop-de-whoop. I said this. You put this. Are you stupid? Are you dumb? You know, going in. I'm like, yo, they barely speak English, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't Pizza Hut in America where they're going to make your order perfect. You know what I mean? Like, they're not even used to that shit. You know what I'm saying? And then, so even worse, right? I'm ordering after Buddy, and he hear me talking, and he like, yo, what up, Tony, man? I see you American too, man. Man, these people just dumb, huh? IQ just 2. I'm like, hey, bro, you know, it's a different language. You can't really say they dumb. So he seen I wasn't really like rocking with them on as far as like on the F these people, I'm living here, they're stupid. You know, we're Americans, we're so smart. Nigga, why you here? You know what I'm saying? If you feel they're so dumb, leave. You know, fuck you here for? You know what I'm saying? Why are you gonna be here and start disrespect? Then Buddy goes to get a soda, boom, slams the shit out the fridge. That is a very bad representation of Black Americans overseas. You know what I mean? People do shit like that, especially in Africa. They're gonna see us as like beasts and animals, and you know, we have no home training. You know what I mean? Like, I'm telling you, bro, like he really tried to get me to co-sign with him on the like these people are dumb, whoop-de-whoop, to their faces in Pizza Hut for fucking up his order. You know what I mean? He might even see this video. I don't really give a fuck. But it just was insane. You know what I mean? That was like the epitome of ignorance. And you get people who come to these places and do shit like that. And these people don't have many experiences with Black Americans, and we're all put into the same category. He wasn't a darkie like me; he was a light skinned cat. You know, I mean, you could tell he wasn't like, you know, from the continent. Yeah, man, that was pretty crazy. You know, people go, we do act up. So it's not just women either. You know, like we do get dudes to do shit like that. Yeah, the anger issues, exactly. You know, even myself, you know, um, I had anger issues at first overseas, but not like I've always lived overseas, but not like that. You know, like just like internalizing, getting frustrated, like getting annoyed. You know, maybe looking exasperated, like maybe being like this and shit like that, like looking restless and shit like that. I have done that, showed signs of irritation, but to the extent, you know, I haven't even done shit like that in America, because shit like that get you shot. You know what I mean? Even in Pizza Hut, you don't know who you're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucker come across the counter with a knife, stab you up. You know what I'm saying? You don't know who you're dealing with. Especially like where I was at in Baltimore, Maryland, you're not acting crazy like that in Maryland. You know what I'm saying? In no establishment, especially in Baltimore, you're gonna go acting crazy like that. It's gonna be a bad day. You know what I mean, people, I would say a lot of us, not a lot of us, some of us, very few, it's not a lot, very few of us come to these other countries thinking we're big and bad, you know, like you know, these people are so humble and peaceful and like kind of prostrating themselves for you, you know, like, oh, let me help you, sir, you know, like yeah, I'm being real. I'm trying to keep it as real as I can on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm gonna start the Patreon content because there's just some shit, you know, you can't really talk about on YouTube without fear of, you know, they're gonna do something, some type of reprisal. You know what I mean? Somebody's gonna, you know, like strike your shit or whatever, get upset. You know what I mean? Just because you're being honest. So I'm not gonna keep it real to the point where it's a detriment. I'm just gonna keep it real to where everybody could just see my experience. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me see. Hold on. Let me see. What does God say? I think he's too nice. Yeah, he is too nice. He's very pure hearted. And another thing too, um, Mark never really dealt with Black Americans. You know, like he never really dealt with Black Americans in the States. He's from Vegas, and he kind of stayed in like I guess the suburban part or whatever. He's young, so came over here really quickly. So he doesn't really understand like what goes on in the hood and stuff like that. He has no idea because he never really dealt with the hood and stuff like that. Even you know, he was teaching me like, you know, about expats and stuff like that. Like people would talk about agents. Like some people are agents. And I'm like, what the fuck is an agent? And they're like, oh, you know, some people are hiding out and they think America sent like covert agents to come and expose them and bring them back to America. I'm like, what? There's some dumbass people that come to these countries. Honestly, like you really think America's looking for you? Now, if you're talking about blowing some shit up, then yeah, they're gonna be on your ass, right? You talk about you going back and you going to do some jihad or some shit like that, then yeah, of course. But just because you may have like, you know, and I'm not gonna say a lot of people, but there are people that are on the run for like a drug charge or something like that. So I get the paranoia to an extent, but they're not gonna chase you around the world because you know you ran from your bond or whatever. They're not gonna chase you around the world. They don't give a fuck that much. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're just thinking of yourself as too big, you know. But those are just some of my experiences here in Tanzania and Africa. Like I said, a lot of guys are really gonna prefer living in South Africa to places like or Kenya, not South Africa. I'm gonna say Kenya. South Africa a little too dangerous, even for most people. Living on a living level, it's just a little too dangerous. So a lot of people are gonna prefer Kenya. Kenya is just very very cool. Even the Austin guy, he likes Kenya a lot. You see Austin and Kenya all the time. You know what I'm saying? So the reason being is because it's it's pretty liberal in Nairobi. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty fun. It's a fun, liberal kind of place. It's not really serious like here. Like the girls are just gonna have fun. Like you said, you think. No, I do not recommend South Africa as a starter country for first-time people in Africa because you can get killed. You can get killed in South Africa if you don't know what the fuck you're doing. If you act like how Buddy acted out here in South Africa, somebody gonna bust your ass. They're more violent in South Africa. You know what I'm saying? It's like South Africa and Nigeria is pretty similar from what I've seen. Hold on one second. Yeah, South Africa and Nigeria is pretty similar from what I said. From what I've seen, what I've heard, the interactions and stuff like that. Yeah, man. So you just be careful, understand these countries are all different. You know what I'm saying? They're all different but similar in ways. They're all African countries. They have their traditions. They have their negatives as well as their positives. Like I said here, the negative is living outside of Dar es Salaam, you're giving up, a lot of amenities that Dar es Salaam has that other places may not have. So you have to be okay with that. You got to be good with that. Not everybody wants to give up the amenities. Like myself, I'll deal with the heat before I give up amenities. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to go live in the village. No. They have dental offices here. They got everything here. You can go get, not saying you would, but people who need plastic surgery, you could go get that. Even though the locals here don't do that shit, but Westerners come, they might want something like that. So you could do all that stuff here. South Africa though does have more. They got McDonald's. They got everything. I think they got Burger. I'm not sure if they have Burger King, but I know they got McDonald's. If a place has McDonald's, just pretty much see it as like a pretty Western place. You know what I'm saying? Like they got McDonald's. They got all the. Oh shit! My laptop's about to die. They got all the Western food places. Yeah, then see it as the West. It's not going to be very very different. Also got 27 minutes. Okay, we'll talk for a few more minutes. But yeah, Tanzania is a good place. Kenya is a good place. Uganda is a good place. I'll recommend those three places as a starter place. I would definitely say. Uganda, Kenya, here as starter places because it's so chill, so basic. Yeah, I mean, veneers for the low, definitely. Yeah, I'm saying it's gonna be pretty cheap. It's gonna be cheap compared to like America. Yeah, I mean, people go to Turkey as well. I don't know if you guys would like Turkey. I heard Turkey is like you're walking around with your woman. I've been to Turkey once, but I didn't really like be out there. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I don't know how you guys will feel about Turkey. I would say here has the least white worshiping women. They definitely like black here more than a lot of other places. They definitely like black hair more than a lot of other places I've been to in Africa, for sure. Being black is like fire hair, you know what I'm saying? But it's not the same everywhere though, you know what I mean? Like some places, Uganda being one, being a black American in Uganda, I would say that's to your detriment dealing with women. Honestly, being black American in Uganda, it was like they would be like, "Yo, or you think you're special or something. I was like, damn, like I didn't even say I was like, but it's like a little competition in Uganda. Like they feel like they're competing against us. Even in the Kenganda shit with O'Shea, you see that girl's perceptions of Black American. The one Ugandan chick on there, she doesn't. To me, it doesn't seem like she likes Black Americans too much. How she talks and stuff. So but I could also understand though. I could understand. I could see both sides. I could see why Americans might not like living in Africa because, like I said, we come from a different society without traditions, and without really preaching patience and stuff like that, emotional intelligence, politeness, things of that nature. I actually seen the Ugandan president talk about how Americans aren't polite. And this is from the president. So they have a negative perception of Americans already. And then, like, when I was out there, they would talk about, like, yeah, because remember, they know English. Like, they understand us very well. It's not like here. Here, they don't really understand English that well. So, like, on TikTok and stuff, they're not going to understand all the words people are saying, music wise, they're not gonna understand what the fuck. Even in Kenya, they don't really know what they listen to Cardi B. You know what I'm saying? Some of them have a Cardi B mentality in Nairobi, but they don't really understand what Cardi B is saying. They don't really comprehend what she's saying. When like one of them was playing, because I don't listen to Cardi B. One of them was playing a song, and Cardi B was saying "ran down on the bitch" twice, something like that. Ran down on the girl. So they didn't understand what ran down meant. So I explained it to them. They're like, what? Like just running up and attacking someone? You guys do that in America? I'm like, yo, you listening to this shit religiously and you're not even understanding or comprehending what's being told to you. You know what I'm saying? So they're listening to Meg Thee Stallion and Cardi B in Kenya, but they don't fully understand it. They understand a good amount of it in Nairobi, but not really. They don't understand like the terminologies we have for like like sliding and shit like that. They don't know what sliding on someone is, or whatever. They don't understand none of that because they don't have the real violence that we have in the West. What is it saying? Yeah, Uganda and Kenya. I would say Uganda is worse than Kenya as far as the white worshiping, but Kenya is there too. They do love white people in Kenya. You know what I'm saying? Here they do have it on I would say it's more on a institutional level than on a regular social interaction level as far as the white worshiping, the white is right, whatever. Here, being dark as a guy, it's actually a positive thing. In Uganda, it was cool until they find out you're American, but white guys and Chinese guys are worshipped in Uganda by the women. Even when Childversity and I got locked up, they were saying like if we were white guys, it wouldn't happen. The dudes in the jail were actually really cool. The dudes locked up, they were real cool. They spoke to us on a real level. And they were just saying, like, yeah, we never seen no Americans locked up here in Uganda. And you gotta admit, you gotta know, people do wild shit to get locked up everywhere. Most of the time in these countries, you could pay your way out of it. But unless if you do something like ridiculous, you could pay your way out of it though. You know what I'm saying? And you just probably get like I wouldn't say you get banned unless you do something absolutely outrageous. Oh, that's a positive I'll give African countries. They're not banning people like Thailand and Japan, Thailand. They'll ban the shit out of you for almost nothing. They'll ban you from their country. In these countries, they're not really They're not really banning people for breaking the rules. You know, breaking the rules, you got to pay a fine, and that's pretty much it. I'm gonna run this live for like 2 hours, so 15 more minutes. Um, that's just my experiences so far. What I recommend, I definitely say at least try it. Go see for yourself. But GMT Travels, you know, I've done a lot of lives with him. Very cool dude. You know, at first he didn't really believe me about Uganda, and then he went, and then he's never going back. You know, like he left early. You know, he understands why I had my take on Uganda. Uganda's a good place. They got nice restaurants. They got all that stuff. But it's their own culture. It's very different. They have their own culture in Uganda. I'm not saying it's good or bad, but you have to understand that going there. You know, and another thing guys make the mistake of doing before coming to these countries is they get information from women on Tinder about the country, or women on dating sites about these countries they want to come to. That makes no sense, you know. Oh, no problem, man. I appreciate you showing up, Hank. My lives are gonna be very random. I'm not gonna have like scheduled lives. I think after this live, I'll be monetized for live streaming and stuff. So I'll be doing it sometimes. I'm gonna not yet, but when I get monetized this week for live streaming, I'm gonna have someone try to super chat me. It could be $2 or $1, 50, whatever the lowest amount, super sticker. I just want to make sure it works. So the next time I get back on live stream, I will ask for one person to super chat me like $1 or something like that, just to make sure it works. I'm in the partner program. My business is set up. Cool. Um, but in the future, I'll be showing you guys more Tanzania. Solar power, yes. Solar power is prevalent here. A lot of people do use solar. Um, but even with the solar, you gotta get it. It's like I'm gonna come out with a video about the generator. I got a generator, right? I'm gonna come out with a video explaining the whole generator shit because it's not as simple as I thought. I thought you just buy a generator, plug the shit up, boom. But the shit gotta connect to your main circuit board. You gotta make sure the main power is off before you put the generator power on. It's a lot. If you don't do it right, you'll trip the circuit and fuck your shit up, and then the electric company is gonna have to come and fuck with all that shit. So, but AC power is very expensive. Like even with the generator, like I said, I'll talk about it more in the video. Even with the generator, like I have a 25-liter generator, right? So they said 41 liters is about the average for 9 to 10 hours, I believe, of electricity. But so on a 25-liter generator, it would last 8 hours, but that's with no AC. That's if you're running just fans alone. If you're running AC, it's going to drink that gas. You can actually hear it. When I turn my air fryer on, right? You hear the generator rev, like it's pushing more gasoline through. As soon as you put the air fryer on. I didn't even know the air fryer uses that much electricity, but it does. And that's just something for you guys to be aware of. Even when you get a generator, it's going to cost you. I'll give the real breakdown because I haven't had to use it all day yet. But I've been like making little clips for a video about generator tutorial shit for you guys to see. But the solar panel, I'm actually going to look into that next. I'll probably get one of those for my house because the solar panel will definitely reduce what I'm spending on electricity, especially with the sun beaming how it is right now. It might as well work for me, right? Use the sun to work for me. Any other questions you guys may have about Africa? I'll be on here like 10 more minutes. So if you guys have any questions about Tanzania, the marriage process. Oh, another thing, marriage process. Get back to the marriage process. When you're getting married, if you're marrying If you're married, wait, let me see. Small appliances are a big. Oh, okay. See, I know you were an electrician. You have an electrician background, so you know. I was actually gonna call your brother and ask him about this shit, but I've been busy and shit. I'm probably call your brother today because he's off. He off Sunday, Monday, right? Yeah, so I'll probably call him today and ask him about some of this shit because if I actually had an electrical background, it'll be way easier. Because I would set my shit up myself. I have to pay someone like $80 to set up my generator for me because it's that intricate. If you don't have an electrical background, you're gonna have to hire someone to set up your generator for you. Unless if you know what you're doing, you know how to crawl and crawl spaces and shit like that, which most people don't know. Um, but yeah, about the marriage thing though. So like you guys come in here. Oh, somebody asked me about the polygamous stuff, right? I don't remember where it's at. I think it's in the questions. Somebody asked me about the polygamy. I didn't get a chance because at the time I was answering so many questions. Oh, here we go. My boy, the real CP. Okay, so they do have polygamy here, but depends on the church. So Roman Catholicism and your church is going to be, since we're foreigners, right? And this is another thing you guys got to be aware of. Your church is going to be based off of your wife's family, what their religious background is. So if you're marrying a girl that's Islamic from a traditional family, this is traditional family. Um, if you're marrying a girl with the Islamic background, oh shit. Oh, my battery's down. Let me go back to I'm going to my bedroom real quick. So if you're marrying a girl with the Islamic background, then you're going to have to convert to Islam, right? I converted to Roman Catholicism. So you'll have to convert to Islam. Now, not everybody's going to want to convert to a different religion, but that's what you got to deal with when you're dealing with traditional families. You gotta follow their traditions. So, luckily, it was pretty simple. I'm not gonna say converting was very simple because they were fucking with me because I was American. To be honest, a Black American, they definitely were fucking with me. But yeah, if you're gonna be a part of Islam, then you can have multiple wives, but it's not in the sense of you guys thinking. As far as I'm concerned. As far as I learned, the wives can't all live in the same house. They have to have different residences. Like one of her aunts converted to being a Muslim. And I think she's a third wife. So the first wife is obviously the most important wife. Second wife, less important. Third wife, the third wife is like nothing. It's just like whatever. There's a lot of third wives here. You know what I'm saying? I believe the husband pays their rent, whatever, which could be like $20 a month, especially in the village. In the village, a rent's going to be like $10 a month. You could get a crib in the village for like $8 a month, $5 a month a room. So converting to Islam might be something you guys want to do if you want to have multiple wives. Me personally, I don't want to have multiple wives. What you can do if you want to deal with multiple women is just, you could get married, whatever, and then you can have your mistresses on the side. That's how most Christians and Catholics do it in these other countries. What does it say? Can third wife? No. So she can only be your wife. Now, your third wife, if you're not really, what will happen if you have a third wife and you're not really like taking care of her well, she would look to another man to assist her with bills. And that's what usually happens. Like these girls aren't going to cheat on you unless from what I see with the locals, and shit like that, they not even all the time too. This is just sometimes. Like if you're like a super broke dude, you know what I'm saying, then there's a chance. Your girl's gonna cheat on you. If you can't feed her, you can't, you know what I mean? If you can't buy food for you and your wife, or whatever to eat, then your wife's probably going to cheat on you for food. You know, that's what's going to happen. But as long as you're taking care of everything or whatever, you know, her needs or whatever, your wife's not going to cheat on you. You know what I'm saying? That's not common. They also will hold it down for you. You know what I'm saying? Like these women are really legit. You don't have to worry about them using sex as a control method, a tool. You know, like if you don't do this, you won't have sex. That's a Western thing. That's never going to happen here. Your wife will always be willing to have sex with you, or your girl will always be willing to have sex with you. They're not going to hold sex hostage. You know, you're not going to be going sexless for days or even, yeah, I mean, like every day you could have sex with your wife in these places. They're going to be cool with that. But now, can non-Tanzanians own property like a house there? No, you cannot. Unless if you do it on Zanzibar. Zanzibar, you can own property, but Zanzibar is a resort type place. So they're definitely taxing on that property. You're going to pay a lot of money in Zanzibar. A lot of money. It's going to be close. I'm not going to say like America, but it's going to be like close to DR prices. You know, Dominican Republic isn't cheap owning property either. So it's going to be close to about that. The best bet is to get a woman. Like I said, my boy Westside TMZ did. You get a woman, you buy property through her. You get a woman, you start the business through her. That's the best way of doing things here. Now, so as far as living though, we don't qualify for the dependent visa, right? I did the video about the dependent visa. So, but what you can do is you could get married and then you could go to the government like, look, I'm married, I live here, show them that you have significant income. And, you know, I'll talk about that more another time, but they'll probably, you know, come with a negotiation tactic. A lot of the stuff in Africa is negotiable, right? So negotiation tactic, you're going to have to probably pay some bread. And then they'll give you a residency. They'll generate you a work ID number, because that's the issue. Like, even though you may qualify for the retirement thing, if you don't have a pre-existing work ID number, then they're going to, you know, you can't really get the residency. But it's something they could generate. And I peeped this when I was taking the bus across the border to Kenya. They can make things appear, you know, like they can just, if you have a visa issue or something like that, they can resolve it through negotiations. That's the best way I'm gonna put it, right? They can resolve it through negotiations. Whatever your issue is, they can resolve it through negotiations. But as far as owning property, I'm gonna say go ahead and get a wife, get a girlfriend. You know what I mean? Obviously, you could do it another way, like as far as if you got some homies or whatever, but I wouldn't trust that unless if they're like, as far as, another thing, business in Africa, and this is another mistake guys do. They do business with poor Africans. That's really stupid. Would you do business in America with poor Americans? No. You're going to do business with people that have money already, right? So if you're going to start a business in Africa and you want to do it with, you don't want to do it through your own woman, you want to do it with like the local dudes or whatever, make sure they're successful dudes. You know what I'm saying? Make sure they already have businesses in place, like quid pro quo, exactly. Like the guy that made my suits. You know, he's doing very well. You know, he has the PSJ brand or whatever. He's doing really well. You know, if I were gonna do business, I would do business with somebody like him or somebody like the homie from the gym. Dudes that already got things going on. Like, you're not their lifeline, their savior. You know what I'm saying? If you're dealing with like somebody who drives boaters all day and they make like $80, $100 a month, and you're trying to start a business with them, whatever, there's a high possibility you're gonna get finessed. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna run off on you, and you're gonna be mad, and you're gonna start cursing the country. But in reality, it was your fault. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you're dealing with girls on Tinder. If you're dealing with girls on Tinder and you find out she's cheating or whatever, how could you be mad? You know, like this is a girl that's been on Tinder for years. A lot of girls that were on Tinder before are still on Tinder. So I can't really say if they're marriage material or not, but the girls that I know are marriage material, they got snatched up. From when I first got here, when I first was dating around or whatever, I know girls that were brought to America and got married, you know, or brought to Egypt, got married. They won't talk to you no more either. After they find their whatever, the girls that are marriage material, relationship material, after they get a guy that's willing to take care of them and be with them, they're not gonna keep talking to you at all. They're done, you know, because the whole male female friendship shit is not, it's not really tolerated here, you know, like it, you don't see it. So yeah, that's my video about my experience so far here in Tanzania, living as an expat. I mean, you guys could do it too. It's pretty simple. You could work online, like Buddy said, do forex. You know what I mean? Trade forex, get married, or make money that way. You know what I'm saying? You could get married. You could do a business with your girl, but the business thing, you have to come up with a good idea. Don't just say, "Oh, I'm gonna sell grapefruits or some shit like that," and think it's gonna be a thriving business. And location, location, location. I can't stress that enough. My store was not on the main road. It was like in the alley, so it was hard to see. So we weren't getting enough customers. You know, at first I thought my employee was stealing from me. I bought a CCTV and everything. I thought my employee was stealing from me. She wasn't. I felt bad. You know, I kind of accused the girl of stealing, so I felt like a piece of shit. You know, I mean, she may have been, but just a couple dollars, you know, and it wasn't just me. My wife's friend was affirming her or confirming that the other girl was stealing, you know, even though she may have been stealing maybe $2. It was nothing significant. We just weren't making money in the shop. That's why I closed it. It wasn't that significant. She was stealing. She may have been stealing like a few dollars for food and stuff like that. Definitely nothing significant. She was a good employee. You could get good employees here, but another issue is here where employees here, depending how much you pay them and how much money you're making, people will, you know, skim a little off the top. The barbershop I was going to, um, they actually fired their whole fucking employee. All their employees got fired. All of them. The whole roster. They just got a whole new team of barbers, the girls that you know wash your face and your hair, to do the fucking face mask and everything, the facial scrubs. All of those people got fired for stealing because they were all in on it. You know what I'm saying? You could get a whole crew of people to work for you, and you're not paying them enough, because that's another issue they have. Like companies are making crazy profit, but they're not splitting it with the people in a fair way. Not saying you gotta, you know, split. It's your business. Obviously, you're gonna pay them way less, but you know they're making like Cape Town Fish Market making like $5,000 a day. You know, paying their employees like $20 for the month. You know, $50 a month. You know what I'm saying? They're making $5,000-$10,000 a day. So you know they got people that are unhappy. But yeah, man, thank you guys for watching my live. I appreciate it. It is 8:21 a.m. here. You see the sun came up. I started when it was coming up. So, oh wait, Eddie said something else. Let me see. Business there, but because of the climate, I made things solar panels. So, yeah, you know that's a good idea. So I'm gonna have to look into solar panels, man. I didn't. Hey, no problem, Ozzy, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody for pulling up and watching my live. I'll probably do some joint live streams at some point, you know, but I don't mind going live by myself. I could talk about my experience because I experience a lot in these places. So that's why I'm able to sit here for a couple hours and just monologue. But yeah, all right, y'all. All love. Thank y'all. Thank y'all very much. I'll be back, and be ready for me to ask about the super chat. Just one person has to do it. That's it. I'll let you know when I'm monetized and everything. I'll be back as soon as they confirm my monetization. So probably maybe Friday, maybe next weekend, I'll do another live this coming weekend. But all right, guys, thanks a lot.